The Gaza Peace Deal aims to end active war fighting since the October 7 terror attack of 2023. The main headlines are of hostage and prisoner releases, the development that bolstered Trump's self-aggrandizing pitch for a Nobel Peace Prize. Netanyahu addressed the Israeli parliament and thanked Trump for securing the return of the hostages, while Trump called the accord the beginning of a golden age in the Middle East. Netanyahu has made one thing clear: peace will only be achieved through strength, which falls in line with the framework of the accord. It envisions an enduring Israeli security presence along Gaza's perimeter. None of the elements of the deal constitute a final status settlement, yet they preserve Israel's ability to act against threats. Even as the ceasefire milestones progress, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and senior officials have signaled that Israel's border campaign is not over. Jerusalem's messaging emphasizes that the truce is contingent on hostage releases and on steps that permanently degrade Hamas's military capability, especially its tunnel network and rocket production infrastructure. Defense Minister Israel Katz has said that they will continue targeting the underground system once hostages are home, a task Israel views as essential to preventing a post-deal resurgence. This posture explains why Israeli operations have shifted in character but not ceased. Now, under the plan, Israel pulls most combat formations behind an agreed line inside Gaza while maintaining a perimeter dominance and rapid incursion rights if the ceasefire is violated. Israeli forces retain freedom of action along border belts and choke points, consistent with the proposal that contemplates a long-term Israeli security role on Gaza's edges. Israel argues that tunnels, production lines, and launch cells, if left intact, would allow Hamas to regroup during reconstruction, eroding the deal's viability. Thus, limited strikes or raids can occur even within a ceasefire window, justified as compliance enforcement rather than renewed warfare. The planned sequence hinges on phased releases. Israel insists on maintaining coercive leverage until the last hostage, living or deceased, is accounted for. That means keeping forces poised to intervene amid transfers and punish violations. This comes as Hamas has announced that it will skip the scheduled Cairo meeting and will not formally endorse the US-Israeli agreement, branding the Trump-brokered plan as absurd. The group's leadership particularly rejects proposals that would force members to vacate Gaza or disarm. This refusal signals that Hamas views the deal not as a peace initiative, but as an existential threat to its role and presence in Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli leaders cite past experiences from southern Lebanon and earlier Gaza truces, where lulls were used by the terrorists to rebuild. Engineering operations against tunnels and clandestine workshops are therefore framed as defensive maintenance consistent with the ceasefire's intent. The plan anticipates an international board and a technocratic Palestinian committee stepping in, then transitioning to the Palestinian Authority after reforms. However, Netanyahu rejects the return of the Palestinian Authority, absent what he calls a radical transformation. Until governance is settled and vetted forces are in place, Israel argues that it must keep a hand on the security tiller. Meanwhile, Netanyahu faces a hawkish coalition landscape and a public traumatized by the war's early atrocities. Fully ending operations before verifiable and irreversible steps against Hamas would be politically hazardous. Public statements that the campaign is not over serve both as deterrence and coalition management at home. Trump's more forceful diplomacy with Netanyahu paired with regional mediation helped clinch the first step, but sustaining the architecture will require continuous pressure and quick responses to violations on either side. If the plan falters, the logic for Israeli operations hardens and the spiral back to open conflict becomes likely. The Trump plan expressly leaves Israel with significant security prerogatives along Gaza's perimeter. For Israel's leaders, those operations are not a contradiction of the deal, they make a durable ceasefire possible.
Been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the they're doing.